Hey, Seth, how are you? Keith, good to see you.
See you. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay. You guys are ready? Good.
It works.
Like that. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. Just wanted to say that I'm so grateful to have Nick here with me today. I'm grateful to Nick for his support and his friendship. We have known each other for a long time, and we both, for many years, have been residents in the city of Providence. We both worked for Governor Raimondo, and I'm glad to have his expertise on addressing the climate crisis issues as part of my team. I immigrated to this country when I was a young woman. I worked in the jewelry factory, learned English after work, taking classes at night. I went to RIC. I became a mother. I got involved in my community. From there, I was able to represent my community first in the Providence City Council, and then after as Lieutenant Governor. My story is only possible here in America, and this is something I have said before, because the American dream is possible only here in America. Unfortunately, right now, there are people that want to destroy that, want to undo the progress that we have made in this country, and make it harder and impossible for people like myself to start all over here in the United States and to be able to have my dreams come true here in this country. There are so much right now that is at stake in Washington. Our rights, our freedoms are under attack. And like my parents and my many other parents, I'm worried about the future that we're leaving behind to the next generation. I'm worried about the gun safety legislations that need to be passed and approved in Washington, and that we are not doing that right now. I'm worried about what future my kids are gonna get. I'm worried about my daughter having less rights than I did when it comes to a woman's right to choose and make their own decision with their body, a decision that should be only between her and her doctor, and no one else should be involved in that. I'm worried about the kids that go to school, and we don't know when we're gonna get the phone call about my own kids going to school and your kids going to school, and that not knowing if that's the day that we're gonna get a phone call letting us know that there was a shooting in a school, or maybe at the park where they were. So those are things that we need to be fighting for. I'm also worried about my parents and my grandmother, who relied on Social Security to provide for themselves, to pay for rent or for mortgages, or to pay also for food or medications. And every day it's getting harder for them. These are big things, big issues, and big fights that we need to take in Washington. We need someone that understands our communities to go to Congress to get things done. I have a proven track record. I've been representing this community for more than 12 years. I have been delivering for my community. In Congress, I will be delivering for the people of Rhode Island also. I want once again to thank my friend Nick for his support. I'm looking forward to campaigning together with you throughout the district. Thank you so much for being here. And now, Nick, please. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming, and thank you, LG, for your years of friendship and all of your service to our state. I have a lot of respect for so many of the candidates in this race. I'm lucky to call many of them friends, and when I made the decision to suspend my campaign, it was a tough choice initially, and it was a decision that I struggled to make about who I was going to support. And I know from talking to thousands of Rhode Islanders over the last 6 months that so many people are in the same place. This is a big field, it's a big race, but for me, it has come down to the fact that really there are only two candidates in this race who can win, and there is only one candidate in this race who should. And so as we come into the final few weeks of this campaign, it is time for Democrats in Rhode Island to nominate a member of Congress our next member of Congress. And to quote President Clinton, I have one in mind. And for me, this was actually really easy once I saw the race that way. And that's exactly how I made my decision to drop out of the race. And I am so excited to be endorsing Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos for Congress today. Sabina has a proven track record in local government and at the state to fight for our families, to bring change to our communities, and I totally trust that she will do that for us in Washington. She fights for the things that matters for Rhode Islanders, for our everyday lives, and I am so excited that we are finally going to be able to send a woman to Washington, D.C. from this congressional district, and for me that makes a huge difference. But elections are about choices, and that is a very good thing. And so let's, for just 1 minute, talk about the choice in this race. Now, no one questions that Aaron Regunberg is a smart candidate and a good politician. But if you want someone who believes that they're right all the time and is just so interested in having his own answers to all the problems, vote for Aaron Regunberg. If you want someone who brings humility to public service and who knows that your job as a public servant is to cut through the noise, not make it louder, and actually get things done for people, vote for Sabina Matos. If you want someone who has never had to struggle to put food on the table or to make ends meet, vote for Aaron Regunberg. If you want a mother who came to this country at 20 years old, learned English, worked on a factory floor, and has now been entrusted with one of the highest offices that our people have to give, vote for Sabina Matos. And now this one is really important, so listen. If you want a candidate who, when confronted with challenging information's first instinct was to lie, vote for Aaron Regunberg. If you want a candidate who has overcome adversity again and again and again, has led and has shown herself to be accountable and responsible, vote for Sabina Matos. For me, this is extremely simple. And so I will just close with this. You know, for me, my family's immigrant story to this country last century is what's motivated my involvement in public service. It's why I wanted to work to rebuild our state with Governor Raimondo, why I'm so focused on the future, on climate change. And I've always said that my political hero is Senator John Pastore. Our late senator was a hero for much of the 20th century, and his story is very much Sabina's story of an immigrant community that has come to make the United States their home, has worked incredibly hard, has proven over and over again that the American dream still lives. That is what we need in Congress today, with so many people cynical about our politics, with so many people losing hope that the American dream still does exist. The American dream is standing right next to me today, and she's going to be our next member of Congress, and I am so excited to support her.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we are happy to take some questions.
Respectfully, Mr. Audiello, why should Democrats listen to you?
I ran in this race. I garnered not a huge amount, but a significant number of supporters in this race. I had a message that connected with part of the district, and I certainly want to signal to the people who were supporting me in this race that I've decided to support the lieutenant governor and hope that they do too.
Nick, when you dropped out, you said, you didn't want this to be running basically for vanity. No one else followed in your footsteps. Are you calling on them to do so?
I think all of the candidates remaining in this race should take a long, hard look at their real chance of winning. It's easy to get wrapped up in the excitement of running a race, but I think this is an important thing about someone's judgment in Congress is, can you see what is in front of you and make the right decision? And the other thing I'd add to that is we've had so many races over the last few years in Rhode Island where the winner has won with a nowhere close to 50% of the vote. The more people there are in this race, the more and more likely that is in this campaign. So I would suggest to anyone who knows that they don't have a chance of winning that they should drop out and coalesce behind the lieutenant governor.
Why?
That's
mean,
Why?
everybody should have an opportunity, right?
Everyone should have an opportunity. Everyone has had an opportunity. I think it's crystal clear where this race is going, which is where it's been the entire time. I've talked to thousands of people. That's not changed.
Lieutenant Governor, do you subscribe to this?
Well, I'm glad to have Nick's support, and one of the things that he did when he left the race is he shared his data that shows the path that every candidate was at that moment. I think that tells a lot about where every candidate can go and who has a chance of winning this race.
But
So do you think others should drop out?
Do you have fresh data? There's no public polling. Like, do you have fresh data that shows that no one else is about?
Well, we're talking about when Nick dropped out the race and the data that he used to make his decision. I think that's the data that we're talking about right now.
What does your latest internal polling show, though, Lieutenant?
I don't have that data available right now.
Mr. Ariel, you used the words, and I think I'm quoting, first instinct was to lie. Now, lie is a powerful word. Maybe you could elaborate on the situation you're describing and who specifically lied.
Sure. So last week at a debate, the Lieutenant Governor asked Aaron Regunberg if he had a red box on his website, which we all know the technicalities of that. And it's not necessarily, for me, the important issue here, whether or not he did or didn't, though he did, and then he deleted it, and it was very fishy. But he immediately, without hesitating, said no. And the Lieutenant Governor very quickly produced evidence that that was a lie. And it was a lie with such low stakes that for me, I don't understand it. I don't understand why he did it, other than the fact that he was embarrassed by the fact that his campaign was coming this close to skirting campaign finance laws and violating the spirit of our campaign finance laws when he's the first one to get up and say that there's too much big money in politics.
Now, there's one group of people in this state who will use the constant assertion about MAGA Republicans, using your campaign's words, that they're here to eliminate Social Security here, and there's a constant reference to Trump. They would say that, in fact, and I'm quoting their quotes to me, that is a lie. Why the constant reference in a Democratic primary to MAGA Republicans?
I think the stakes in this country right now are crystal clear.
And we have seen that coming from Washington when you see the members of Congress that are extreme MAGA Republicans, Trump supporters. We have seen what comes from them. So that's what we're talking about.
Lieutenant Governor, you also have a red box or overview section on your website. How is that different from Mr. Regunberg?
I've been transparent about the information that I'm sharing on my website. It's open for anybody to see. Anyone can go to my website and see the information that is there. Mr. Regunberg was trying to hide the information because it was intended for a specific audience to go and find it and use it. And we have the proof that that's what he did. And then he lied. When confronted with this information, he lied about it. He said that he didn't do it, that he never had this information available on his website, and that's the big problem. I'm not hiding any information. All the information is available for anyone to see. I'm not coordinating with a super PAC, with a family super PAC, the way Aaron Regunberg has been doing it. So it's a big difference.
Can I just want to clarify one thing?
Yes.
Can your campaign, I should say,
Yes,
or anyone in established Democratic politics point to any example where the current, I guess there's a pair of Republicans running for the nomination, have specifically said they will cut Social Security?
I don't have that information available with you, with me, Pat, but I'd be glad to follow up.
Fair enough.
You can follow up with Pat on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When Michael Solomon and Brett Smiley stepped out of the race for mayor of Providence in deference to Jorge Elorza, they said it was because Buddy Cianci posed an existential threat to the city. Do you liken this situation to that? Do you feel that Aaron Regunberg poses a threat to the first district?
So, yes,
To
it
Rhode
does,
Island?
because Aaron has been telling us one thing and doing something different. If you look at the track record and his history in politics, he always tells us one thing but goes out and does something different. We don't need someone like that in Washington. The voters need someone that is going to tell them the truth, and I'm going to follow through on what they're saying.
So how many candidates remain in the Democratic primary? There's something like 10, right?
Yes.
So
12
I'm
candidates.
sorry.
10 were in the last debate.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's name names. Who do you think ought to drop out?
I think this is a decision each campaign needs to make. Look at their own data, look at the information that they have, and make this decision.
But to be clear, are you asking any specific candidates to join you against Aaron? In meaning one of you drops out and endorses the other?
Yes, I'm asking the other candidates if they can take a look at their chances and ask them to support my campaign so we can consolidate the Democratic field and make sure that we don't end up with someone that has been lying to the voters and lying to all of us and lied on the debate stage last week when confronted with proof and information that we have of something that he did.
And which candidates have you asked that to?
I haven't asked any other candidate directly. I never asked Nick to leave the race. He makes his decision. I asked him after he makes his decision to support my campaign.
So maybe a general call.
And if any other candidate drop out of the race, I'll be the first one calling them and asking them for the support.
Mr. O'Donnell, do you expect any sort of role, should the lieutenant governor prevail in the primary and then in the general election, any role whatsoever in her administration, if you will, as a congressperson in Washington?
No, not at all. I'm looking forward to getting back to working on climate change issues. And I'm supporting the lieutenant governor because I believe she's the best person to represent the district.
And why do you suppose none of the others have followed your lead here? Do you think
You have to ask them.
Yeah, but I mean, do you think they're all well-funded and all well-positioned to win in this race?
You'd have to ask them how they are making their own decisions about their campaigns.
I just want to push back on the polling. You must have some data that is more recent. Where is it showing that you fall in this race?
Well, let's go. We just saw some media coverage that are saying that Mr. Regunberg seems to be on the lead, so I'm going for that information.
But what is the polling? Your campaign is doing polling, yes?
I don't have the data. I don't have any data that I can share right now.
All right.
Any of your aides here willing to step up?
Sorry?
Any of your aides
Don't have anything to
have anything? No, nothing to share.
Nothing to share.
So if they don't,
Yeah.
what's that going to? We've just got 2 weeks left here.
Yes.
Where does that leave you?
I don't know. Maybe the media can do a poll.
No, short
I
of
would
that.
love to see your polling data.
If they're not lining up to the exits, what do you do?
Hey, I'm looking forward to see if the media is going to have any polling data that you can share with everybody, with every campaign.
Quick question. In both the case of Woonsocket and in the case of Pawtucket, I personally have seen both mayors at public events refer to their prospective candidates as their city's candidates. Mm-hmm. It's well known that the city of Pawtucket has probably the most effective machine, if you will, going old school in the state of Rhode Island. Do you, Senator Cano has been listed in that second round of carrot, but do you worry about that type of efficiency that Mayor Grebenion's been able to harness for going on 15, 20 years?
No, I respect the work that Mayor Grebion has been doing in Pawtucket, but at the same time, I believe I can hold my own in Pawtucket. I have been a strong supporter, vocal supporter of Pawtucket and defending Pawtucket through my time here as Lieutenant Governor. I have been a very strong supporter of Pawtucket, so I have faith that I will do pretty well in Pawtucket.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything to add?
No, thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you for coming.
Tonight, how are they separating the 6 and 6? Do you know?
Oh my. 5 and 5.
I
Oh,
know.
5 and 5?
So first, they decided they would split the ballot based on the ballot,
Okay.
and then they decided to do it alphabetically.
Wait, that was how they made it? They just split the ballot in half?
Yeah.
Alphabetically.
Yeah.
So you'll be in the second half
Correct.
But
Except
only
they're
for
going first because
because it has you and Aaron in the
Yeah.
second half of the alphabet.
Yeah.
And so it'll be, so who's the second half? You, Anna,
Regunberg.
Regunberg,
Quezada and Casey and Gonzalez.
Casey is in the second?
yes, C is actually the
Oh,
direct
there's
middle
so
of
many
this.
There's so many
A's and
Yeah.
B's.
And Abney didn't even.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Right?
All right. Well, we'll have to see.
This campaign has everything.
And,
this
and,
year, right?
and 10 is also, I think, heard is splitting theirs into
And do we know if
two.
they're doing random?
They're doing a lottery.
A lot.
They're doing a lottery.
12 is doing
See it.
everyone every
Oh,
once.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's a blindfolded lottery. play
Thanks,
that one
Steve.
for the
Thanks, Steve.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We actually did a blind lottery for our debate. Like we pulled out of a Dunkin' Donuts Munchkins thing
That's the
for the
correct
first
way to do
for the
it.
first question. For
Yeah.
the first question.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were all sitting in alphabetical order, but
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
saying that's quite the.
We're going to sign off now. Thank you,
It's
folks.
tough when you
We'll
do
have
the
this
two-
up
the
and
two
shared
groups
again
because
shortly.
I think it's good on the one hand because everyone gets a
Again,
ton more, but
Facebook.com/The Coalition
you want
Radio.
the top people
And on the
all
Mighty Mighty
together
Twitter
on
at Coalition
stage.
_radio. And the mothership at CoalitionRadioNetwork.com. Folks, if you could take a
have-
moment, if you haven't
There's no,
followed
like-
us on social media,
No,
please
there's
do.
no right.
Independent media
Yeah.
is the new media, is the replacement media. But we need your support. Thank you very much.
Some of us weren't happy.